Hello students. So today I am going to explain you inverse trigonometry MCQ questions which can come for your board exam. Okay. So one by one we'll discuss. We having around 60 questions. Out of these 60 questions only mostly questions can come. So see the first inverse trigonometry. Inverse trigonometry. Okay. So you take the different inverse trigonometric functions we have like sine inverse x, tan inverse x, cosecant inverse x. Next, these three functions comes to one family. Next to three functions, cos inverse x and cot inverse x and secant inverse x. These three belong to one family. Now we are going to see the how to find domain and range of these functions. So domain as take it as a x and a range and take it as a y. So you take it as a function y equal to sine inverse, cos inverse, cot inverse, secant inverse, tan inverse, cot inverse, like that. So now these three functions I am treating as the same family, especially for the range. Suppose if we come to the domain of the function, sine inverse x, cos inverse x, they'll have the both will have same domain. X belongs to minus 1 comma 1 closed interval, minus 1 comma 1 closed interval. Then coming to the domain, tan inverse x, cot inverse x will have same domain. X belongs to real numbers, x belongs to real numbers. Then coming to the domain of cosecant inverse x, secant inverse x, both will have the same domain. All real numbers except numbers between minus 1 and 1, all real numbers except the numbers between minus 1 and 1, or minus open interval minus 1 to 1, or minus open interval minus 1 to 1. These two same domain, these two same domain, and these two same domain. But I written according to the range order. See here. Then coming to the range, sine inverse x range is closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Then coming to the range of tan inverse x, open interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Then cosecant inverse x range is closed interval of minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, and subtract the midpoint of this is 0. So look at here, sine inverse x domain closed minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, tan inverse x open minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, cos inverse x range closed minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 minus subtract the midpoint. Same we follow for the cos inverse, cot inverse, secant inverse x also. See, cos inverse x range from closed 0 to pi, and cot inverse range open 0 to pi. Then secant inverse x range is closed 0 to pi and subtract the midpoint. What is the midpoint of 0 to pi? Pi by 2. So this is how you can remember the range of this inverse trigonometric functions. Closed, open, closed minus midpoint. Closed, open, closed minus midpoint. This is how you have to remember the range of this inverse trigonometric functions. From here we can create 1 to 12 questions they can create. So 1 to 12 questions they can create. So 12 questions we can prepare like this. Okay na? Yes. So now we are going to solve the questions from 13 to 20. How to solve sine inverse of minus x, cos inverse of minus x, tan inverse of minus x questions. For this we have formulas. What is the formula? Sine inverse of minus x equal to minus sine inverse of x. Tan inverse of minus x equal to minus tan inverse of x. Cosecant inverse of minus x equal to minus cosecant inverse of x. These three comes under one family. Next, cos inverse of minus x equal to pi minus cos inverse of x. Cot inverse of minus x equal to pi minus cot inverse of x. Secant inverse of minus x equal to pi minus secant inverse of x. These three comes under another family. Now we are going to solve all these questions. Sine inverse of minus x. So minus sine inverse of x minus sine inverse of 1 by 2, sine pi by 6 is 1 by 2, sine inverse of 1 by 2, pi by 6, sine 30, 1 by 2. Next, cos inverse of minus 1 by 2, pi minus cos inverse of 1 by 2, pi minus cos inverse of 1 by 2. Cos 60 is 1 by 2, cos pi by 3. So pi minus pi by 3, 2 pi by 3. Next, cosecant inverse of minus root 2. Cosecant inverse of minus x, what you can write? Minus cosecant inverse of root 2 minus cosecant inverse of x, sine inverse of 1 by root. How you get? Because we know that sine inverse of x equal to cosecant inverse of 1 by x we can write. Similarly, cos inverse of x we can write secant inverse of 1 by x, and tan inverse of x we can write cot inverse of 1 by x. So these are reciprocals. We can reciprocate this thing: sin inverse cosecant, cos inverse secant inverse, tan inverse cot inverse. Now cosecant inverse root, if we don't know value, convert into sin inverse of 1 by x, then sin inverse of 1 by root 2, we know that pi by 4, because sin pi by 4 1 by root 2. Then coming to tan inverse of minus 1 minus tan inverse of x minus tan inverse of 1 minus tan inverse of 1 pi by 4. Then coming to this question, tan inverse of 1, tan pi by 4, 1, tan inverse of 1 pi by 4, cos inverse of minus x, pi minus cos inverse x, pi minus cos inverse x, sin inverse of minus x minus sin inverse of x. So pi by 4 plus pi, cos inverse of 1 by 2 pi by 3, sin inverse of 1 by 2 pi by 6. Cos inverse of 1 by 2 pi by 3, sin inverse of 1 by 2 pi by 6. We know already that, because cos 61 by 2 sin 31 by 2, LCM if we take 4 3 6, LCM 12, it come 4 3 jar, so 3 pi 1 12, so 12 pi 3 fourths and 6 twos. So we get 12 plus 3 15, 15 minus 6 9, 9 pi by 12, we get 3 pi by 4, we get 3 3 jar 3 4 jar. So now coming to the tan inverse of root 3 plus secant inverse of minus root. Tan inverse of root 3, what we get? Tan 60 root 3 secant inverse of minus x, pi minus secant inverse of x. So pi by 3 plus pi, 4 pi by 3 minus secant inverse of x, if I don't know, convert into cos. Secant inverse of 1 by x, cos inverse of x. Secant inverse of x, we can write cos inverse of 1 by x. 4 pi by 3 cos 61 by 2, so pi by 3, 4 pi minus pi, 3 pi by 3, we get answer as a pi. That's how we can easily answer it. Now coming to this, cos inverse of 1 by 2, cos inverse of 1 by 2 cos 60 plus 2 into sin inverse of 1 by 2 pi by 6, 2 into pi by 6, 2 1 jar 2 3 jar, pi by 3 plus pi by 3, we get 2 pi by 3. Then coming to this, tan inverse of root 3, tan inverse of root 3, what we get? Pi by 3. Cot inverse of minus x, pi minus cot inverse of x, so pi by 3 plus pi, 4 pi by 3. Cot inverse of root 3, cot 60 root 3, cot 60 root 3, cot pi, sorry, cot 30 root 3, cot pi by 6 is root 3, LCM 6, 3 2 jar 8 pi minus pi, we get 7 pi by 6 is the answer for this question. That's how we can answer questions from 13 to 20 by using these properties. Sin inverse, tan inverse, cos inverse, one family; cos inverse, cot inverse, secant inverse is another family. So you can easily answer it. Guys, now we see the questions from 21 to 27 questions, how to solve. Coming to the 21, sin of pi by 3 minus sin inverse of minus 1 by 2. This is very easy. Sin of pi by 3 minus sin inverse of minus x, minus of sin inverse of x. So minus into minus plus. So sin of pi by 3 plus sin inverse of 1 by 2 pi by 6. So 30, 60 plus 30, 90 agate. So sin of 90 pi by 2. So sin 91. So that's how easily we can get. Next, how to solve this modus? Cos inverse of cos 7 pi by 6. We know that cos inverse x range from 0 to pi by. This is the range. So the value answer should come between 0 to pi only. So how we can bring this value from 0 to pi? You cannot cancel out this 2 and you cannot say answer is 7 pi by 6 because it's not in the range of 0 to pi. How we can bring? We can bring here cos inverse of cos 2 pi by 6, 7 pi by 6. You can write pi plus pi by 6. 7 pi by 6. We can write pi plus pi by 6. But pi plus theta, third quadrant, it will become negative. We won't get the answer. So that's why 7 pi by 6, another way what you can write means 2 pi minus 5 pi by 6 I can write. 6 2 jar 12, 12 minus 5 7. So I am going to go for this option because 2 pi minus theta, fourth quadrant cos is positive. So very important. So whenever you get the cos inverse values, you go for the 2 pi minus theta. Most of the questions, if it is in the not in the range of 0 to pi, you go for converting the given angle into 2 pi minus theta. Then you get the answer in the range of 0 to pi. So go for here. So 7 pi by 6 can write 2 pi minus 5 pi by 6. 2 pi minus theta, which quadrant? Fourth quadrant. Fourth quadrant cos positive. So cos inverse of cos of 2 pi minus theta, 2 pi minus theta, fourth quadrant. For multiples of pi, cos remains same, will get cos 5 pi by 7, 6 only. Now this 5 pi by 6 range and value is between the range of 0 to pi. So therefore we can cancel this 2 and we can write the answer as a 5 pi by 6. We can get the answer as a 5 pi by 6. Similarly, so sin inverse of sin 2 pi by 3. So 2 pi by 3. Yes, sin inverse range what? Sin inverse range is from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Therefore, value must and should be between minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. But this is not between minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. It is a more than minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So then this theta, how we can bring into minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 means 2 pi by 3 we can write pi minus theta, because 2 pi by 3 can I write pi minus pi by 3, pi minus theta second quadrant sign is positive, so that's why I'm going for pi minus theta instead of 2 pi minus theta. So 2 pi by 3, so sign if it comes you can go for either pi minus theta or pi plus theta also, because values will be between minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So sign inverse, remember, you go for either pi minus theta or pi plus theta. This must, and if you go for 2 pi minus theta, so just remember this 2 pi by 3 we can write pi minus pi by 3. So sine inverse of sine of pi minus theta, which quadrant? Second quadrant sign is positive, so multiples of pi sign remains same, we get sine pi by 3 only, sine inverse sign cancel now, pi by 3, because it is in the range of minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So then coming to the sine inverse of sine 3 by 5, so 3 pi by 5, pi by 5 18, so 180 by 5, 5 36 3 are 108, so it is also in the more than pi by 2. So then what, now look at this question, sine inverse of sine 3 pi by 5. So 3 pi by 5, pi by 5 is angle 36 degree, 36 3 are 108 degree, how we can convert here? So sine inverse of sine of pi minus theta we can make it, because pi minus theta second quadrant sign is positive, how can I write 3 pi by 5? So 3 5 in terms of pi minus theta, pi minus 2 pi by 5 can I write? So now pi minus 2 pi by 5 I am writing. So now sine inverse of sine of pi minus theta, which quadrant? Second quadrant sign positive, so positive multiples of pi sign remains same, sine 2 pi by 5 you get. Now this 2 pi by 5 lies between minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, because minus 92 plus 90, because 36 2 is 72, we can cancel out this and we can write 2 pi by 5 as the answer, which is 72 degree, which is between minus 90 to 90. So that's how we have to bring it into their range. Now sine of tan inverse x we have to do, we have to simplify this function. How we can simplify? Let's take this tan inverse of x as a theta. So I'm taking tan inverse of x as a theta, then tan theta ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ x ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So now tan theta is x, so this theta, tan theta x means opposite side x to adjacent side 1, so x is opposite, adjacent is 1, theta opposite x, adjacent 1, then hypotenuse will become root of 1 plus x square. Then what I want here, sine of tan inverse of x, I assume theta, I want sine theta value, sine theta ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ opposite by hypotenuse x by root of 1 plus x square. This is the final answer, this is how we can solve the question. So all this type of question, assume whatever the function which is in the bracket as a some theta, then find out the other function by using that. Finally answer should be in terms of x, not in terms of theta, because theta is our assumption. Next, the value of x if sine inverse of 1 minus x minus 2 sine inverse x equal pi by 2, we have to find out the x value. This thing if you go for normal procedure it will take more time, just go for the substitution, it's very easy. So then go for the substitution, first option, substitute x equal to 0 here, we'll get sine inverse of 1 minus 0 minus 2 sine inverse of 0 pi by 2, sine inverse of 1 pi by 2 minus 0 0 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ pi by 2, sine inverse of 0 0, so this is satisfied. Then go for 1 by 2, x equal 1 by 2 I am substituting, so sine inverse of 1 minus 1 by 2 minus 2 sine inverse of 1 by 2 equal to pi by 2, 1 minus 1 by 2 1 by 2, sine inverse of 1 by 2 minus 2 sine inverse of 1 by 2 equal to pi by 2, so minus sine inverse of 1 by 2 equal to pi by 2 got. So this is the wrong answer, sine inverse of 1 by 2 pi by 6 minus pi by 6, it won't fit. So then you can go for checking the 1 comma 1 by 2, 1 by 2 is anyway not satisfying, this 2 not possible, 0 satisfying, yes, only answer is 0 is the correct answer. Now coming to the next one, sine inverse of x equal to y, then y value. So what is the range of sine inverse x? They are asking nothing but range of y. So what is the range of y? Sine inverse x minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 is the answer for this question. That's how we can answer the questions from 21 to 27 questions. Next we can see the other questions. Now we see the questions from 28 to 32. Cot inverse of 1 by root x square minus 1. Let us assume this as a full as a theta. So cot inverse of 1 by root of x square minus 1 theta. So cot inverse equals a cot theta. Cot theta equal to 1 by root of x square minus 1. You take the right angle triangle, cot theta, adjacent by opposite side. Theta adjacent 1, opposite side root x square minus 1. Then you take the hypotenuse, what will become Sum of the squares of adjacent side root x square minus 1 plus 1 1 cancel ಆಗುತ್ತೆ x ಬರುತ್ತದೆ. So hypotenuse will get x. So what values will satisfy? X by 1 theta x by 1 hypotenuse by adjacent side. What is that? Secant inverse of x. So secant inverse of x will satisfy. So secant theta ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ x by 1 theta ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ secant inverse of x. Okay. So that theta only answer for us. So theta equal to secant inverse x. That's how we can easily get the answer. Next, tan inverse of cos x by 1 minus sin x. How to simplify this? So tan inverse of cos theta, if you go for formula, cos square theta by 2 minus sin square theta by 2. 1 minus sin theta, we don't have formula, but we have formula for 1 minus cos theta. That's why sin we convert into cos. Sin x equal to cos of 90 minus x. And cos theta, if you go cos square theta by 2 minus sin square theta by 2, we don't have formula, then cos I convert into sin. So sin of pi by 2 minus x. So now we get tan inverse of sin theta 2 sin theta by 2 cos theta by 2. Next, 1 minus cos theta 2 sin square theta by 2. So we have the formulas: sin theta 2 sin theta by 2 cos theta by 2, 1 minus cos theta 2 sin square theta by 2. Now 2 sorry, whole bracket 1 2 cancel, 1 sin cancel, cos by sin what we get? Cot. So tan inverse of cos by sin. So cot of pi by 2 by 2 pi by 4 minus x by 2. So tan inverse cot won't get cancelled. So now cot convert into tan. How we can convert? Cot theta equal to tan of pi by 2 minus theta. If we convert, tan inverse tan cancel, pi by 2 minus pi by 4 minus or minus plus x by 2. Pi by 2 minus pi by 4, pi by 4. Pi by 4 plus x by 2. So that is the answer for this question. Pi by 4 plus x by 2. Next, find the value of x if sin inverse of 2x into root 1 minus x square equal to 2 sin inverse x. They are asking the domain. So here you no need to check the domain. This x will be belongs to minus 1 to 1. But here you have to check this. Domain of any sin inverse should be the value sin inverse of something y or x, whatever you take, that should belongs to 1 to 1. So now this 2x into root 1 minus square should lies between 1 to 1, then only sin inverse domain will satisfy. Sin inverse of t, k, anything you take, the t should lies between minus 1 to 1, k also should lies between minus 1 to 1. Now this full value should lies between minus 1 to 1, then only sin inverse will be defined. Then find out the x value. How we can do this? We have to solve this inequality. For this inequality, I am substituting, put x equal to sin theta. I am substituting sin theta. What will get here? Minus 1, 2 sin theta, root of 1 minus sin square theta 1. Minus 1, 2 sin theta, 1 minus sin square theta, cos square theta, root cos square theta, cos theta 1. 2 sin theta, cos theta, sin 2 theta less than or equal to 1. Now I want the x value. First you will get the theta value. So how we can solve? Sin we bring here, sin inverse of minus 1 less than or equal to 2 theta less than or equal to sin inverse of 1. Sin inverse minus 1 minus pi by 2 less than or equal to 2 theta less than or equal to sin inverse of 1 pi by 2 theta minus pi by 4 less than or equal to theta less than or equal to pi by 4. But we want x values na. Theta ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? X equals sin theta. Theta value will be sin inverse of x. So minus pi by 4 less than or equal to sin inverse of less than or equal to pi by 4. X I want na, sin inverse being here, it will become sin. So sin of minus pi by 4 less than or equal to x less than or equal to sin of pi by 4. Sin of minus pi by 4 minus 1 by root 2 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 1 by root 2. So that is the answer for this question. Minus 1 by root 2 to 1 by root 2. Answer for this question. X belongs to minus 1 by root 2 to 1 by root 2. Same thing if you do for this also, we get answer same. X belongs to minus 1 by root 2 to 1 by root 2. So remember this, these two questions. Value of sin inverse of 2x into root 1 minus x square equal to 2 sin inverse x or 2 cos inverse x when x belongs to minus 1 by root 2 to plus 1 by root 2. Now coming to same question, the value of x if sin inverse of 3x minus 4x cube equal to 3 sin inverse of x, find out the x value. So same thing here. So sin inverse of anything, if we take, that value should be less between minus 1 to 1. Minus 1 less than or equal to 3x minus 4x cube should be less than or equal to 1. So minus 1 you take common, x you take common, 3 minus 4x square less than or equal to 1. Minus 1 less than or equal to x minus 0. So now this will become 3 you take common, 4 you take common. So 3 by 4 minus x square less than or equal to 1. Yeah. So now if we take okay, sorry, okay. So so again, sine inverse of 3x minus 4x cube equal to 3 sine inverse x. Then this value should be lies between minus 1 to 1. 1. So now substitute, put x equal to sine theta. So put x equal to sine theta to solve this equation. So we'll get 3 sine theta minus 4 sine cube theta less than or equal to 1. 3 sine theta minus 4 sine cube theta, sine 3 theta less than or equal to 1. Then sine inverse, sine if it comes here, sine inverse ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Sine inverse of minus 1 less than or equal to 3 theta less than or equal to sine inverse of plus 1 minus pi by 2 less than or equal to 3 theta less than or equal to pi by 2. So then theta will become 3 if it comes here, minus pi by 6 less than or equal to theta less than or equal to pi by 6. Now theta, what we assumed, so x sin theta means theta equal to sine inverse of x na, substitute that. So minus pi by 6 less than or equal to sine inverse of x less than or equal to pi by 6. Sine inverse if comes here, sine ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Sine of minus pi by 6 less than or equal to x less than or equal to sine of pi by 6. Sine minus 30 minus 1 by 2 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 1 by 2. So x lies between minus 1 by 2 to plus 1 by 2. Same thing you can take for the other values also. If you take the cos inverse of 3x minus 4x cube equal to 3 cos inverse x, for this also same thing you can answer it. So these are the questions. For this you have to remember the domain. This is how we can solve the questions. Next coming questions will go. So students, now we see questions from 34 to 38. The value of x if sine inverse of step of sin x equal x holds when this is possible. So now we have to find out the sine inverse. Step of sin x should be x. The step of sin x. So what is the sine inverse domain? Sine inverse of something should lies between minus 1 to 1. So step of sin x should lies between minus 1 to 1. So step means integer function. So step can take whole integer values now. Then step of sin x will take integer values between minus 1 to 1. What? Minus 1 comma 0 comma 1. If the step of sin x is from minus 1 comma 0 comma 1, then sin x can lies between where? Step of sin x is minus 1, let us assume. Step of sin x is minus 1. Then sin x lies between minus 1 to 0. Then if step of sin x is 0, then sin x can lies between 0 to 1. If the step of sin x is 1, then sin x can lies between 1 to 2. Yes. Here 1 to 2, this is not possible. Only here possible is sin x equal to 1, because more than 1 sin x is not possible. Then here minus 1 to 0 sin x. Then sin inverse of x value we want na? Yeah. So sin inverse of minus 1 less than or equal to x less than sin inverse of 0. So minus pi by 2 to less than x less than or equal to 0. Next here sin inverse of 0 less than x less than sin inverse of 1. So 0 less than or equal to x, 0 less than or equal to x less than pi by 2. Sin x equal 1 means x equal to pi by 2. So x lies between minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. This is the answer for this question. So step of something is there. 1 minus 1 means that value will lies between minus 1 to 0. Minus 1 to 0 step will be minus 1. 0 to 1 step will be 0. 1 to 2 step will be 1. So that's how we got the answer, minus pi by 2 to 0, 0 to pi by 2. Finally we got the answer minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Now a range of f of x equals sin inverse x in 0 to 2 pi other than minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. See, sin inverse x minus pi by 2 to 0 will take negative values, 0 to pi by 2 take positive values. That's why it will cover both negative and positive values. Like this, which coordinate will satisfy? See, pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2. So pi by 2 to pi. So pi by 2 to pi, sin inverse positive. Pi to 3 pi by 2 will get third coordinate negative. So pi by 2 to pi, second coordinate sin inverse will get positive, sin positive, then sin inverse values also will get positive. Pi to 3 pi by 2 sin function is negative, then sin inverse values also will get negative, which is covering both positive and negative values. Therefore this is the correct answer, pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2. Remember this. Now what is the reflection of the graph of the function y equals sin x along the line y equal to x? So y equals sin x graph, if we take the reflection, we will get the inverse of this function. So reflection along y equal x gives inverse of that function, inverse of that function, very very important. So reflection of y equals sin x along the y equal x, what will give? Reflection of that function will give the inverse of that function, sin inverse of x. In which of the following inverse function y equals sin x does not exist? So y equals sin x inverse, when it won't exist? When it is not bijective function. So in which coordinate it won't be bijective function? You see here, some 0 to pi if we take, so 0 to pi graph if we take sin x, so 0 to pi like this will be there. So in 0 to pi function, is it 1 1? If you draw a line parallel to x axis, so for two different x values we have the same y values, therefore the line parallel to x axis cutting the y equals sin x at two different points, therefore it is not 1 1. If it is not 1 1, it is not bijective, it is not bijective, therefore inverse won't exist. From 0 to pi the inverse of the function won't exist, because 0 to pi sin x is not bijective, because sin x is not 1 1, because if you draw a line parallel to x axis, it is cutting at more than one point, then sin x is not a bijective function, therefore sin inverse of x won't exist. Next, the graph of the function y equal cos inverse x is the mirror image of the graph of the function y equal cos x along which line? Y equal x. Inverse of function we get from the function by drawing the mirror image from along the line y equal to x. Same concept here, we again asked the question, you remember this very well. Sine inverse of, now we see the statement based questions. Sine inverse of sine 2 pi by 3, 2 pi by 3. Sine inverse of sine theta equal theta if theta belongs to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. S. Sine inverse of sine theta theta if theta belongs to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Correct answer. But sine inverse of sine theta will be theta only if theta belongs to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. But this theta is not like being minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. It is more than pi by 2. So greater than pi by 2. Therefore, this is a wrong answer. So statement 1 is false, statement 2 is true. Now, assertion. Domain of f of x equals sin inverse of x plus cos inverse of x is minus 1 to 1. Correct or not? Yes. So domain of sin inverse of x minus 1 to 1. Domain of cos inverse of x minus 1 to 1. So sum of these two function domain intersection. Intersection also we get minus 1 to 1. Therefore, it is assertion true. Now, reason. Domain of the function is set of all possible values of for which the function will be defined. Yes. So this set of all possible values of x for which the function is defined, for x belongs to minus 1 to 1, minus 1 to 1. This function is always defined. That's why this domain definition is correct. Therefore, assertion is correct and reason also true. Now, next assertion. One branch of sine inverse of x other than principal branch is pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2. Just now we discussed it. So, the sine inverse x values, if you want, you should get only positive and negative both. Pi by 2 to pi, second coherent, sine is positive. Pi to 3 pi by 2, third coherent, sine is negative. Sine is positive means sine inverse x value is positive. Positive will get, sine negative means sine inverse x value is also negative we get. So therefore, other than minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, sine inverse x principal branch is pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2. That is absolutely true. Next step. Sin x is invertible in the interval pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2. Of course, it will be invertible because it will satisfy the principal branch. Therefore, it will be invertible. Therefore, assertion true and reasoning also true. Next. Principal branch of cos inverse of x is 0 to pi and cos inverse of cos x equal x belongs to 0 to pi. This is true. Yes. But what about the statement 1? Cos inverse of cos 7 pi by 6, 5 by 6 they are saying. Is it true or not? Yes. It is true because I told 7 pi by 6 is not in 0 to pi. It is more than pi. But how can we solve this cos inverse of cos 7 pi by 6? It is in the third coherent. So we have to bring it to the first and second coherent. We can write theta as a 2 pi minus theta. 2 pi minus 5 pi by 6. 6 2 is 12, 12 minus 5 7, 7 pi by 6 we can write. So 2 pi minus theta, which coherent? Second coherent cos is positive. So for multiples of pi, cos remains same. Cos 5 pi by 6 we get. Cos inverse cos cancel we get. 5 pi by 6 is the correct answer. So therefore, statement 1, statement 2 both are true for this question. Now, domain of sin inverse of x. Sin inverse x domain minus 1 to 1. Domain of tan inverse of x, all real numbers minus infinity, infinity. Domain of cos inverse of x, range of cos inverse of x 0 to pi. Correct. Next, range of cot inverse of x, range cot inverse, open interval 0 to pi. Range of tan inverse of x, open minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Range of sin inverse x closed minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Next, range of secant inverse x, range of secant inverse x 0 to pi minus pi by 2, range of cosecant inverse x minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 and subtract midpoint 0, domain of cosecant inverse x r minus minus 1 of 1. So this is how we can solve the match the following questions. Next we go for the remaining questions. We solved up from 39 to 46. So students, now we see the questions from 47 to 60 or 54 and one additional question 64 we see graph related questions. Now cos of pi by 3 minus sin inverse of 1 by 2. Cos of pi by 3 minus sin inverse of minus x minus sin inverse of x. Cos of pi by 3 minus into minus plus sin inverse of 1 by 2 pi by 6. So that 60 plus 30 90 cos 90 is to 0. So this will become 0. Now cos inverse of minus 1 by 2 equal pi by k, then value of k. So now minus 1 by 2 equal cos inverse cos, that's it, will be cos, or cos inverse of minus x, pi minus cos inverse of x equal to pi by k. Pi minus cos inverse of 1 by 2 pi by 3 equal to pi by k. Pi minus pi by 3 2 pi by 3 equal to pi by k. Pi cancel, k value equal to 3 by 2. So k value is 3 by 2 for this question. Next, cosecant inverse of minus 2 equal minus pi by k, then k value. What is the cosecant inverse of minus x? Minus cosecant inverse of x. But cosecant inverse values I don't know, sir, then convert into sine inverse. Cosecant inverse of x equal to sine inverse of 1 by x. So now minus minus cancel, sine inverse of 1 by 2 pi by 6 equal to pi by k. So therefore k value equal to 6. So that's how we get the answer. Next, 2 cos of 2 sine inverse of 1 by 2. So 2 cos of 2 into sine inverse of 1 by 2, we have pi by 6, 2 1 jar, 2 3 jar, 2 cos pi by 3, 1 by 2. So 2 into 1 by 2, 1. So we get the answer 1 as a answer for this question. So now coming to the 52. This graph depicts the which function, which inverse trigonometric function. You see here, x value lies between minus 1 to 1. If x belongs to minus 1 to 1, definitely either it can be sine inverse or cos inverse. It can be either sine inverse or cos inverse, but we don't know exactly. But the range from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. The values are range from minus pi by 2 pi by 2 means definitely it come from sine inverse x, not from the cos inverse of x. Because x belongs to minus 1 to 1, y values belongs to minus pi by 2 pi by 2. That is a sine inverse x graph. We already know domain and range of sine inverse x. Next, coming to 53rd point question, you see. This graph depicts which inverse trigonometric function. X value is from greater than 1 and less than minus 1. So x less than or equal to minus 1 and greater than or equal to 1 means definitely this comes under either secant inverse x or cosecant inverse x. But if we come to the range, so it can be either secant inverse of x or cosecant inverse of x. But coming to the range, values are from 0 to pi by 2, next to pi by 2 to pi, which means 0 to pi by 2 except pi by 2 to pi, 0 to pi by 2 and union pi by 2 to pi means 0 to pi except pi by 2. Then which function that is? Secant inverse x function. So secant inverse x lies between 0 to pi minus pi by 2. So this graph depicts the secant inverse x function. Now coming to this one. So this one you see, x values from where to where? There is no x values are keep on going here. So minus infinity to plus infinity going. So x belongs to minus infinity to plus infinity means either it can be tan inverse of x or cot inverse of x. But y values you see range from 0 to pi. So 0 to pi range of which function? So values, y values you see 0 to pi only the graph is there from 0 to pi. So 0 to pi definitely the graph of cot inverse x, but not for the tan inverse of x function. Now coming to the 64. Now you see the x values again from minus infinity to infinity. So x belongs to minus infinity. If you see, it's keep on going minus infinity, it's keep on going to plus infinity. So either it can be tan inverse of x or cot inverse of x. But y values you see they range between this only. So less than minus 2, just less than 2 here. So 2 you minus 2. So this can be around minus 1.57, this can be around just 1.57. 1.57 means pi by 2 minus pi by 2 plus pi by 2. So the values lies between minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Which function? Tan inverse of x, not the cot inverse of x. This graph depicts about the tan inverse of x inverse trigonometric function. This is how we can solve the graph related question by checking the domain and range of their functions. You no need to remember the graph, just to see the graph. If you know the domain, check the domain and check the range. So domain and range belongs to which inverse trigonometric function, click that function, we'll get the answer easily for these questions. So hello guys, now we'll end up this all questions from 55 to 64 questions. See here, sine inverse of x minus cos inverse of x pi by 6, then x value. How to find out? You convert two inverse trigonometric function into any one of the inverse trigonometric function. We already know. You convert this two inverse trigonometric function into single inverse trigonometric function. We already know relation between sine inverse of x plus cos inverse of x equal to pi by 2. From here, sine inverse of x what will become? Sine inverse of x will become pi by 2 minus cos inverse of x, minus cos inverse of x equal to pi by 6. I converted two inverse trigonometry into single inverse trigonometry. So ಇದು minus 2 cos inverse x, ಇದು pi by 6 minus pi by 2. So minus 2 cos inverse x, 30 minus 90 minus 60 minus pi by 3, we get minus minus cancel. Cos inverse of x we get pi by 6, x will be cos pi by 6, cos 30 root 3 by 2. So x value will be root 3 by 2. So that's how we can answer this question. Convert two inverse trigonometric function into single inverse trigonometric function, then solve that equation, we get the answer. Next, what is the domain of sine inverse of root x minus 1? Sine inverse of something, anything you take that should lie between where to where? Minus 1 to 1. Minus 1 to 1. If you square on both sides, negative values will become positive. It will come to 0 to 1. Then add 1 less than or equal to x minus 1 plus 1 less than or equal to 1 plus 1. Because adding 1 is eliminate the minus 1 and we will get the x value. 1 x less than or equal to 2. So this is the answer for this question. So next, sine inverse of sine 6 pi by 7. So sine inverse of sine theta equal theta, when theta should belongs to minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2, but 6 pi by 7 is greater than the pi by 2. So then how we can bring? So then sine comes whenever I always ask you to write pi minus theta form. Sine comes, always try to write in the form of pi minus theta or pi plus theta. It will save your time. So pi minus theta, 6 pi by 7, what you can write? Pi minus pi by 7 I can write. So because pi minus theta second quadrant, so second quadrant sine is positive. Pi minus theta second quadrant sine positive, will get positive sine. Multiples of pi sine remains same, sine pi by 6. Now pi by 7 is lies between minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So therefore pi by 7 is the correct answer for this question. So now the value of cos inverse of minus x if x belongs to minus 1 to 1. So cos inverse of minus x, what is the formula? Pi minus cos inverse of x if x belongs to minus 1 to 1. That is the answer. Now cos of tan inverse of 3 pi by 4, how we can solve this? So let us assume this as a theta. If we assume tan inverse of 3 by 4 as a theta, then tan theta will become 3 by 4. So take the right angle triangle, theta opposite side 3, adjacent side 4, hypotenuse will be 5. We'll get here cos of theta. So what is the cos theta from here? Cos theta will become 4 by 5. So answer is 4 by 5. That's so simple we can solve. Just assume this as a theta, then tan inverse of something theta, tan theta 3 by 4, then construct the right angle triangle. From that, whichever trigonometric function you want, you can treat cos theta, you want cos theta, adjacent by hypotenuse 4 by 5. You get easily. Let's come to here. Tan inverse of root 3 plus secant inverse of 2 plus cos inverse of 1 pi by k, find out the value. Tan inverse of root 3, we know that pi by 3. Secant inverse of 2, I don't know. So I will convert into cos inverse of 1 by 2 minus cos inverse of 1, 0. Why? Because cos 0, 1. So now pi by 3, cos inverse of 1 by 2, pi by 3 equal to pi by k. So 2 pi by 3 equal to pi by k. Pi cancel, k value will become 3 by 2. So that's how simply we get the answer for this question. So next, domain of sine inverse of 3x. Sine inverse of something, anything you take that should lie between minus 1 to 1. Then x value minus 1 by 3 to 1 by 3. This is simple, you can get the answer of sine inverse of x. Then cos inverse of cos 2 pi by 3. I already told we can cancel this because this lies between 0 to pi. So 2 pi by 3 lies between 0 to pi, you can directly cancel. Sine inverse of sine theta should belongs to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Yes, it's there. Again you can cancel. Answer is pi. So 2 pi plus pi, 3 pi, 3 pi by 3 pi. This is a direct question you can answer. You no need to worry about anything. Cos inverse of cos theta is theta when theta belongs to 0 to pi. Sin inverse of sin theta, theta when theta belongs to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Because sin inverse range, cos inverse range and big. Both are there. You can cancel out and you can get the answer. Next, this is very little important for CET also. Tan square secant inverse of minus 2, cot square cosecant inverse of minus 3 they ask. Let us assume this as a. So secant inverse to A, then secant A 2. Then assume this as a B. Cosecant inverse 3B, cosecant to B 3. So now construct a right angle triangle here. Secant A 2 means secant A hypotenuse by adjacent 1. Then cosecant B3 means B hypotenuse by opposite 1. So 3 by 1 ಇದು 2 by 1. So then ಇದೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ 2 square 4 minus 1 3 root 3 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Then this 3 square minus 1 9 minus 1 8 2 root 2 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ root 2. Now we want tan square, assume this as a cot square, assume this as a b. So tan a what? Adjacent, opposite by adjacent, root 3 whole square. Cot b ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ adjacent by opposite, 2 root 2 whole square, root 3 square 3 2 root 2 whole square 4 2 8 8 plus 3 11. So answer is 11 for this question. Now sin of cot inverse of cos of tan inverse of 1 we have to find out. So sin of cot inverse of cos of tan inverse of 1 pi by 4. So cos pi by 4 1 by root 2, cos pi by 4 1 by root 2. Yes, then cot inverse of 1 by root 2. So this how can you solve? Let assume this as a theta. So then cot inverse of 1 by root 2 theta, cot theta 1 by root 2. Take it as a right angle triangle. Cot theta opposite by adjacent by opposite. This will become 2 plus 1 3 root 3 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Now what we want? Sin theta we want. Assume this as a theta. So sin theta we want. Sin theta ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Root 2 by root 3. So that is the answer for this question. So that's how we solved all the questions from first to 64 questions we solved in inverse trigonometry. Out of the 64, most of the questions you can appear for the Karnataka PUC board exam, second PUC board exam, or if it is possible we may get questions from here CET also. Either you can get for CET or definitely questions other than this. No question can ask for second PUC board exam for 2025. So all second PUC students who are preparing for 2025 board exam, so you practice this question within 15 minutes. You can solve all these questions and you can answer any one of the question if they ask from the inverse trigonometry chapter. Okay, thank you so much. All the best.